of about 3 months?
Well, may not be for a period of 3 months, but I think if you can extend and extrapolate your time horizon, then I think it makes sense to add the stock. It's a very high beta name, so the stock had a fantastic last 15-16 months for itself. It's possible that the stock may get into a corrective phase as well, and the correction, if the markets presumably get into a correction phase, then even this stock may get into more of a sharper and a volatile phase of correction. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking to invest into stocks like CDSL, but the charts are looking very attractive from a long-term play. So I would suggest more of a buy on dips approach, and also you have to extend your time horizon from being or from looking at it from a 3 months perspective to looking at it to at least another couple of years or more than that.
All right, this one is for you, Vikas, and Sagar wants a fundamental view on Tata Chintan. He's bought about 8,000 shares at around 2,030 rupees per share, as risk reward was good. Quarter results and management commentary were good as well. So he's asking, do you see growth in the stock in the near future, and can it reach 5,000 plus? So what's your take on Tata Chintan? Do you track this one, Vikas? Yes, it's a fairly recently listed counter. So how does it look? How does the fundamental look?
Yes, Anil, it's a great company, a very good stock. The IPO, which was recently there, got a tremendous response. The stock has also done well, and the investor has to be complimented for having bought it at a good level, and he's still holding on to it. And I think if he's a horizon of say at least 2 years, I think he should certainly hold on to the stock. He will get a very good upside in this stock, and I think 5,000, a target of 5,000 can be achieved in the next say 3 to 5 years. So I'm bullish on the stock and would recommend a hold on the stock at the current levels.
Okay, I'm coming back to you, Vikas, on a public sector bank, Bank of India. Megan has been asking about Bank of India for some time. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to take this question. She's considering entering it for the long term. Would you say that this is the best option, or would you suggest that there's another name in the public sector banking space that can be picked up?
Yeah, Alex, I can understand what you actually want to say. This is, as far as Bank of India is concerned, I don't think this would be the best choice from among the public sector banking space. I think if one has a long-term view, one should go with the leader, the State Bank of India. The stock has come out with State Bank of India declared pretty robust numbers for this quarter, and the stock has corrected also recently in the correction which we are witnessing in the market over the last few days. I think it's a right time to buy into State Bank of India and hold it for long term.
This one is from Ramesh, and he wants to talk about Glenmark Pharma. I'll take this query to you, Kunal. He's saying he's bought about 200 shares at 573 rupees per share. He's running a loss of about 10% for the last few months. He wants to know, will Glenmark Pharma bounce back, and when and how much percent upside can he expect from here on if it is going to bounce back? And also, he's saying that he wants to exit this particular counter before the next correction or consolidation, but with profit. What's your take on this one? Many questions rolled in one, but the ultimate goal that Ramesh is looking like, he wants to make profit on his holding on Glenmark Pharma, which right now is running into loss.
Too many conditions and ifs and buts, but I'll keep it as simple as possible. I think this is a quality stock. The pharma stocks are trying to get into a revival mode, and it's going to be difficult because after 5-6 years from 2015 levels where these stocks topped out, they've just seen 12-13 months of a price recovery. The last 3-4 months, of course, these stocks like Glenmark Pharma has gone into a correction mode from 700 towards 500. So it's going to be difficult for these stocks to try and get into more of a consistency of price trend. But if you have a time frame which is a longish term kind of a time frame, then you have to give time to these quality stocks and look at corrections as good opportunities to try and chip into these names. So difficult to anticipate when Glenmark Pharma would turn around, but my sense is that many of these pharma stocks are getting into a value zone on technicals as well, and the fall is getting arrested for these stocks. The volumes are just about trying to inch back higher for these pharma names, which indicates that there could be a sign of accumulation coming into these names. So if you are in from a longer term haul, I believe you should hold Glenmark Pharma.
Okay, Vikas, this is specifically for you. We've got a viewer, Pawan, who's asking that I take the question to Sethi ji. and he says that he's planning to buy CAMS as well as AMI Organics for the long term at the current levels. Should he consider doing this?
As far as CAMS is concerned, it's a great stock and it's a real play on the kind of activities which we are witnessing in the markets. Although the stock has given pretty good returns over the last 1 or 2 years, I think even at the current levels, one could buy into it. So one could use a staggered approach to be buying into CAMS. At every correction, one could add some quantities and hold it for long term. And the other stock I do not track and would not be able to offer my comment on the same.
KPN Star, a great name. Next time, please do mention your name as well. This is your YouTube handle. He's saying for short-term gains, is it now the right time to invest in stocks, or should he wait for some more correction? And if it is the right time, which are the best stocks to look at? Kunal, this is one thing that everyone says, that it's not advisable to time the markets, but this is exactly what our viewer is asking for. Is it the right time to enter? And if not, should he wait for some more time? And which are the stocks that he can look at?
I think the viewer has, I would sense that he has two sort of queries. One of them is that short-term wise, is the market getting into a corrective mode? And the second, I think, if there is a chance of a bottoming out formation, which are the kind of stocks to look out for? So both of these views, questions are a bit contrarian. On the short-term charts, I would expect that the markets would get back into a downward drift mode. See, for example, 2 weeks back, the Nifty was at a premium of 85 or 90 points on the futures. Now, currently, as I'm speaking, the premium is at the Nifty futures is in fact at a discount. For itself. So, which is why I believe that there could be a possibility that the markets may continue to be in a corrective mode. If you're looking to buy, I think more than the timing the markets, you need to spend time into a lot of large cap quality names. And I think at current levels or maybe slightly below, you could have a lot of these banking names, large cap names like Reliance, etc., Bharti Airtel, which could probably be available at a slightly better discount than current levels. So I would suggest make a portfolio, start doing that right now, and then probably add to higher quantity as soon as the market gets into a corrective phase going forward.
Okay. We've got a question from Sunil, and he's asking about APL Apollo. And Kunal, this is for you. He says he's asking whether it can be bought at the current price.
APL Apollo is a stock which looks attractive, and in fact, just about a week or so back, the stock, when it was at 775 or 780 levels, it had hit back the oversold territories of indicators. So I was looking at the charts for APL Apollo, and the stock had done two sort of confirmations. One on the price front, where the prices managed to make a triple bottom for itself at those 780 levels. You look at the last 5 months of charts, and the 780 level approximately was also the previous supports twice in the last 5-6 months for APL Apollo. And the second, as I said, was where the indicators had entered into the oversold territory. So on both of these fronts, I believe it looks attractive. The risk reward is also better at current levels. So I think keeping a stop loss at maybe a 775, 780 levels for APL Apollo, you can look to buy the stock even at current levels and look out for targets at least in the tune of 1100 to 1150 on the stock over the near term.
Alright, this one is for you, Vikas, and this one is from Vignesh. He's asking, is Amrutanjan Healthcare a good long-term buy? What would be a good price for him to enter this particular counter? His time frame is over 3 years. Do you track Amrutanjan Healthcare, Vikas, and how does this particular counter look? Fundamentally strong, makes sense to for Vignesh to look at it for the longer term?
Yeah, it's fundamentally a good company. The stock has also done well and currently quoting at close to around 920 odd levels. I think it's a good time to stay invested in the stock. And if you wanted to buy it fresh, I think one could look for opportunities during corrections to be buying to the stock. From a long-term point of view, this stock looks good, and I think in the next, say, 1 year, we could see levels of 1300 to 1500 rupees on the stock.
All right. We've got a question coming in from Avantika, and she's asking about RT drugs. She's wondering, Vikas, if she can buy this for the next 2 to 3 years. What would you say?
Alex, this is one stock which can be bought, but if I were to pick only one stock from the pharma space, I do not think this should be the one. I think I would like to go with a company like Dr. Reddy or DV's Laboratories, which look good. So I think he or she should try looking at Dr. Reddy's or DV's Laboratory from long-term point of view.
Right. This one is coming to you, Kunal, and this one is from Marion Portman. Is holding 70 shares of Alembic Pharma at 830 rupees per share. One is she's asking about how are the Q2 results and how is the stock looking on the charts, because she's bought it for the long term, is for about 5 years of investment. So, how does Alembic Pharma look on the charts to you? Kunal, sorry for that. She's holding about 70 shares of the counter at 830 rupees per share.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad acquisition price because the stock made a high, I think around 1100, 1120, I think 7-8 months back. And so I think in that regards, it's a good investment price for Alembic Pharma. I would sense that the stock is getting into, ending into a corrective mode. So, the rally which started out for Alembic Pharma from March 2020, when the stock was at 450 odd levels towards 1100, it's trying to retrace, or I think if I'm not wrong, it's already completed a retracement of 61.8%. Now, 61.8% is a classical retracement point where typically a corrective wave ends and you see a beginning of a new trend emerging for these stocks. And I think if that's the case, then we could be at a cusp of an uptrending move for Alembic Pharma even from current levels. So I would suggest that if you have a time frame of 5 years plus, then you should stay put and stay hold on the stock at current levels as well.
All right, Kunal, I'm coming back to you. Mr. Arunachalam is asking, what would you buy at the current juncture? Initially, he had pointed out CDSL, and I mentioned that you said that it is a high beta stock that can be bought with a slightly longer term time frame. But which one would you pick as of now if someone were to ask you a good pick for the short term?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of stocks which I am keeping a track upon very closely. One of them is ABFRL. We have discussed this stock time and again on the channel as well. It looks very attractive. The stock is in high momentum. There is a relative strength with ABFRL as compared to the other peers like Trend, Shoppers Stop, etc. From the space. So that's a very good positive for ABFRL. It indicates that a new trend is emerging for the stock. So it looks attractive from a short-term basis as well. UPL has been one of the stocks which I had recommended quite some time back. I think that stock as well is now trying to show some signs of a revival. It's inching towards a breakout. There is a strong degree of outperformance on UPL as compared to the Nifty, specifically in the last 1 week, 10 days. So that's again a very positive signal coming out for the stock. So maybe you can look out for some 5 to 10% kind of a trading opportunity into both of these names.
Hang in there, gentlemen. We will just cut across to Times Now Summit where we had Dharmendra Pradhan speaking.
वर्किंग डिजिटल बोर्ड ये सब शुरू हुई थी, लेकिन ये डिसरप्टिव पीरियड उसको एक्सपीडाइट कराने में, त्वरित कराने में थोड़ा हमको एक नई ये हो सकता है, ये कॉन्फिडेंस भी दिया है। जो सिल्वर लाइन कहा जाता है कि इस क्राइसिस की सिल्वर लाइन क्या है? सिल्वर लाइन ये है कि हम आने वाले दिनों में देश में 16 लाख स्कूल हैं, उस 16 लाख स्कूल को कैसे हम नए लर्निंग मेथोडोलॉजी पे ले जाएंगे, टीचर्स एजुकेशन को कैसे कन्वर्ज करे नया प्लेटफॉर्म की तरीके से। ये कोरोना काल ने कुछ अनुभव दिया है, लॉसेस हुई है, लेकिन मैंने जैसे शुरू में कहा कि हमारी बच्चों की मेधा शक्ति पे हमें विश्वास है, इसको मेकओवर किया जा सकता है, लेकिन कई प्रकार की कोर्स की कंटेंट को थोड़ा कंडोन करना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा और क्रॉस कोर्स करवाना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा दिन में, क्योंकि अभी देखिए अभी एक हम लोगों ने नवंबर महीने में देश भर की स्टेट्स ने स्कूल कॉलेज को खोलना लगभग पूरा कर दिया है। एक आधा जगह पे थोड़ा
दिल्ली में कॉलेजेस नहीं खुले, स्कूल खुल गए।
दिल्ली में कुछ स्कूल कुछ क्लासेस तो शुरू हो गया है। देखिए ये भारत सरकार ने ये कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में विषय रहने के कारण और कोरोना मैनेजमेंट ये राज्य की विषय है। गृह विभाग ने एक शिक्षा विभाग की परामर्श से ब्रॉडर फ्रेमवर्क दे दिया है। अभी हम प्रति महीना में इसकी रिव्यू करते हैं भारत की एजुकेशन फैमिली में लगभग 99% वैक्सीनेशन हो गया है। हायर एजुकेशन की बच्चों के भी वैक्सीनेशन हो गया है। उसके लिए स्वास्थ्य विभाग अलग पहल किया, अलग वैक्सीन की व्यवस्था की। सारे फ्रंट में भारत सरकार और राज्यों ने मिलकर काम किया है। निजी स्कूल के लोगों ने भी, निजी शिक्षण संस्थानों ने भी आगे बढ़ के काम किया है। सोसाइटी ने भी आगे आके मदद किया है। अभी अभी स्कूल कॉलेजेस खुलने लगा है और मैं मानता हूं कि सहज जैसे जैसे होता जाएगा, न्यू मॉडल और न्यू पेडागोजी भी बनते जाएगा।
धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी, शिक्षा के लिए सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी होता है शिक्षक। हमारे यहाँ अगर देखा जाए तो शिक्षक को शायद उतनी इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दी जाती। अगर आप देख लें तो सरकारी स्कूलों में शिक्षक की तनख्वाह कितनी है, हम टैलेंट अट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं या नहीं, अगर शिक्षक सही नहीं होंगे तो क्या शिक्षा सही होगी, ये एक बड़ा मुद्दा है। और हमारे देश में